Yes.
Okay. Just stop the video for a couple of minutes. Uh-oh.
So, very good afternoon, everyone. My name, so we are starting. So I think we waited 5 minutes. So I think most of the people have joined now. So, okay. So I welcome everyone for this session, Introduction to GitHub. And it is an introduction session. So, few requests. Please, everyone, keep silence. Yeah. And I request everyone to keep their phones on silent mode. Yeah, we are starting the session now. So, yeah, so I welcome everyone and very good afternoon and welcome Disha. So, myself Ajay Kumar, I am head of School of Information and Data Science at Nalanda Academy, and I'm very happy to welcome today Disha. She is a senior data scientist and a consultant at company Ernst and Young, and she is located in Pune. And today she'll be sharing with us how to use GitHub and what is the importance of GitHub. And over to you, Disha. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ajay. Um, yeah, it's been a pleasure working with Nalanda, and I think this is my second time I'm taking a course with Nalanda. So thank you for having me back, and thank you for all the participants that have joined us today. I can see there are already 13 participants here. So good, welcome back. If you have attended my previous lecture, good to know you again. And if there are new people, hello for the first time. Okay, so I hope my screen is already visible. So I'll just get started. Hello, Palash. Hi. So introduction to Git and GitHub. now I understand that some of you have already covered some programming language courses at Nalanda, specifically introduction to R and introduction to Python. So I think now is a good time to introduce you to the version control system that is predominantly used in the programming world. Okay, so let's get started with that. So anybody has an idea what Git or GitHub is? I'll start with an example before introducing you what really Git is. I'm very sure that many of you would have gone through this kind of a scenario where you have to submit some final thesis document or final presentation or final project submission to your professor in college. And after all those burning all that night oil, you finally have the final doc ready, and the world file is emailed or sent printed copy to your professor, who then comes back with lots of revisions. This is wrong, that is wrong, you need to change this, need to update that, and lots of feedback from your professor. You incorporate all that feedback and you make a new document, a revised document. Okay, but that's not really enough. The professor still has many suggestions for you. There are still some nitty gritties to be cleaned out, and there's a new list of feedback which he again gives you with a nice red pen, or if you're sharing in the word file with nice tracked red color changes, you know and you can go into that loop, incorporate the feedback, save the new version document, and over the time you are just going from a simple final.doc name to revision with comments, revision with comments and corrections, comments number 7 and correction number 9, and more 30 feedback points. So you really run out of the space to give a unique identifier for your every single revised document. Okay, you just go into the loop of revisions. The thing is, what if you did not save it with a new document and a new name, and you may keep doing changes in your original document? Okay, the reason why this PhD fellow is not really doing that, because he does not want to lose whatever the previous version he was working on. Say suppose he did all these feedback revisions, till revision 22 on the single document without changing the name. Word will save only the latest version of changes, right? And it will forget all the other previous changes. Once you save the file, there's no option of control Z and undo the changes, right? So I wanted to ask the class, is it okay if I continue in English, or do you want me to keep it in Hindi, Marathi, English? What would you prefer? uh,
I am getting a feedback. It has to be in English and Hindi. That will be more helpful.
ओके ग्रेट, थैंक यू सो मच. सो जैसा मैं कह रही थी कि आप एक कुछ प्रोजेक्ट थीसिस या कुछ सबमिशन करते हो, उसके ऊपर आपको फीडबैक मिलता है और आप फीडबैक इनकॉर्पोरेट करते जाते हो, डॉक्यूमेंट अपडेट करते जाते हो, सेव करते जाते हो. क्या होता अगर ये स्टूडेंट हर बार नया फाइल नहीं बनाता, हर बार वो सारे चेंजेस अगर एक ही फाइल में करता विदाउट चेंजिंग द नेम? तो उसका जो फर्स्ट ड्राफ्ट था वो तो कंप्लीटली चेंज हो गया, राइट? 6 मंथ्स डाउन द लाइन अगर उसके प्रोफेसर ने कहा कि नहीं नहीं, तुमने जो पहला ड्राफ्ट दिया था उसमें जो एक्सपेरिमेंट नंबर 2 तुमने डिस्क्राइब किया था, दैट वाज वेरी गुड, आई वांट दैट वर्जन ओनली नाउ. एंड यू विल लाइक, लेकिन मैंने तो सब चेंज कर दिया क्योंकि आपका फीडबैक आया था, मैंने सारा रिवाइज कर दिया, अभी मेरे पास वो वर्जन है ही नहीं. So your 6 months of time goes to waste. You have to again go back and incorporate that experiment description from scratch, right? And if you don't do that, okay, if you don't save all the changes into a single file, and you basically take the route that this PhD student has taken कि हर बार आप एक नया फाइल वर्जन सेव करेंगे, तो आप कितने सारे फाइल्स बनाते ही जाएंगे एंड यू विल गेट कंफ्यूज्ड. वो फोल्डर फाइल एक्सप्लोरर अगर आप विंडोज का देखोगे तो आप कंफ्यूज हो जाएगा कि रियली फाइनल वर्जन कौन सा है, क्योंकि हर नाम में मैंने फाइनल डाला है, बट विच वन इज द really really final version, right? So you get into this loops of revision, and this is not just relevant to programming but any kind of file system management kind of a thing. But this problem gets even more critical जब आप प्रोग्रामिंग या कोडिंग करते रहते हो. Okay, and how that would happen we will discuss throughout the session. Okay, so simple without thinking of कि हम एक कोडिंग का फाइल है, पाइथन डॉट पाई फाइल है या डॉट आर फाइल है, ये सब भूल जाओ, हम कोडिंग अभी नहीं कर रहे. सिंपल एक वर्ड डॉक्यूमेंट है सोचो, एंड हाउ वुड स्टूडेंट वुड रिवाइज द वर्ड डॉक्यूमेंट जब भी कोई फीडबैक आता है, तो हाउ वुड द चेंजेस लुक, राइट? तुम्हारा ओरिजिनल कोई एक डॉक्यूमेंट है, टेक्स्ट फाइल है, वर्ड डॉक्यूमेंट है, उसमें आपने कुछ लिखा है. ओके, आपको कुछ फीडबैक आया या आपको कुछ एडिशन करना है, आपको नया चैप्टर लिखना है अपने थीसिस में, तो आप कुछ लाइंस उसमें ऐड करते हो, राइट? इस फाइल में ईदर यू ऐड न्यू लाइंस और जो एग्जिस्टिंग लाइन है, ओके, सो अगर कोई एग्जिस्टिंग लाइन है आपको वो चेंज करना है, रिफ्रेश करना है, करेक्ट करना है, कोई नंबर्स बदलने हैं आपके एक्सपेरिमेंट के, तो आप वो लाइन चेंज करते हो, वन थिंग. और आप कुछ नया कंटेंट ऐड करते हो फाइल में, ठीक है? सो देयर आर टू वेज कि आपका ओरिजिनल फाइल चेंज हो सकता है. ईदर वी आर चेंजिंग द एग्जिस्टिंग कंटेंट और वी आर एडिंग अ न्यू कंटेंट, राइट? अभी सपोज मैंने इसको ओरिजिनल फाइल बोला, जब मैं फर्स्ट स्टेप मैंने ये किया कि ओके कुछ एग्जिस्टिंग कंटेंट था वो मैंने चेंज किया, ओके, सो मैंने ये जो लास्ट लाइन थी ये चेंज करी, सो ये नया फाइल हो गया, राइट? दिस वर्जन इज डिफरेंट देन द फर्स्ट वर्जन, ओके, सो दैट बिकम्स माय फर्स्ट कॉपी. देन आफ्टर सम डेज आई एम लाइक ओके मेरे पास नया कंटेंट आया है जो मुझे ऐड करना है, सो मैंने कुछ नया कंटेंट फाइल में ऐड किया, सो दिस बिकम माय सेकेंड कॉपी. ओके, सो इंक्रीमेंटली मैं मेरा फाइल अपडेट कर रही हूँ, राइट? But what happens is after some time I'm like, oh no, I really want to change this line or delete this line completely itself. So that would also be a third step to do कि आपका वो third copy हो गया कि आपको delete करना है, एंड सो एंड सो फोर्थ. आप लीनियरली आपका फाइल अपडेट कर रहे हो. अब इसमें बिकॉज ये लीनियर प्रोग्रेशन है, आप इजीली पीछे भी आ सकते हो कि एक दो लाइन का ही चेंजेस है तो आई जस्ट डिलीट इट, एक दो लाइन का ही चेंजेस है तो आई जस्ट ऐड इट. बट व्हाट इफ यू हैव progressed a lot and you really want to go back to the very first original draft यहाँ पे, and it's not the matter of simply deleting some lines or doing a control Z operation continuously, then what? You are in a fix. You will have to do a lot of work to undo every single step, right? क्योंकि ये आपका फाइल का अपडेशन कपल ऑफ वीक्स, कपल ऑफ मंथ्स पे चल रहा है. हर रोज आप कुछ ऐड कर रहे हो, कुछ डिलीट कर रहे हो, सो आपका जो फाइनल ड्राफ्ट है वो बहुत ही अलग है फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट वर्जन. ओके, सो सिंपल आपको कंट्रोल जेड करके आप अंडू नहीं कर सकते हर एक चेंज टू गेट दिस ड्राफ्ट. सो बेसिकली यू हैव रियली लॉस्ट द कॉपी दैट यू हैड स्टार्टेड विथ, क्योंकि वो अभी बहुत ज्यादा अपडेट हो चुकी है, बिल्कुल उसका ढंग बदल गया है. Okay, there's another way that the changes to file can look like कि आप अकेले थीसिस नहीं लिख रहे हो, आप किसी प्रोजेक्ट मेंबर्स के साथ आपका प्रोजेक्ट का फाइल या थीसिस लिख रहे हो. ओके, सो यू आर अ मेंबर ऑफ टू पीपल एंड यू स्टार्ट विथ सम टेम्पलेट फाइल जो आपको मिला होगा, और आप अपने चेंजेस ऐड करते जाते हो. ओके, और आपका टीम मेंबर उसके चेंजेस ऐड करते जाता है. ओके, सो पैरेलली एक ही फाइल पे पैरेलली दो लोग काम कर रहे हैं, right? And you still want to maintain the same version though. Okay, अभी आपने Google Docs use किया होगा, so you can add members to Google Docs जहाँ पे collaboratively you can edit one single document, right? So that kind of a version is there. Another thing is कि आपके पास independent files है, ओके आपके ग्रुप पार्टनर के पास एक अलग फाइल है, आपके पास एक अलग फाइल है जहाँ पे अपने अपने चेंजेस किए हैं, आपके ग्रुप मेंबर ने अलग चेंजेस किए हैं। ओके, इन द एंड सबमिशन करते वक्त दो सबमिशन तो करने हैं नहीं, आप दोनों को मिलके एक ही कुछ थीसिस प्रेजेंट करना है, राइट? सो आपको ये दोनों इंडिविजुअल चेंजेस जो आपने किए हैं वो एक करके सबमिट करना है, right? That is another way to look at how can a single file multiple changes or revisions. Okay, so we are not even into going into a coding scenario, programming software development scenario. Simple file system पे ही अगर हम बात करें तो कितने सारे सिनेरियोज आ जाते हैं एक फाइल को एडिट करने के, अपडेट करने के। अगर आप किसी के साथ कोलैबोरेशन में काम कर रहे हो तो क्या सिनेरियोज आ सकते हैं। सपोज अभी ये सिनेरियो देखो, एक फाइल से आपने स्टार्ट किया है और आप अपने चेंजेस डाल रहे हो, आपका पार्टनर अलग चेंजेस डाल रहा है, आप चैप्टर 1 पे काम कर रहे हो सपोज और आपका पार्टनर चैप्टर 2 पे काम कर रहा है। सो डिफरेंट डिफरेंट चैप्टर्स पे काम कर रहा है, सब स्मूथली वर्क होगा। सो दिस कैन बी अ सिनेरियो कि आप एक सिंगल गूगल डॉक है और एक सिंगल गूगल डॉक में दो मेंबर्स साथ में एडिट कर रहे हैं। अभी इसमें कॉम्प्लिकेशंस कब आएंगी कि आप दोनों सिमिलर सेक्शन पे काम कर रहे हो, राइट? सो व्हाट विल गेट सेव्ड, तो वहां पे कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स आ जाते हैं, राइट? सो दिस इज वन सिनेरियो कि जब मल्टीपल लोग एक ही डॉक्यूमेंट पे काम कर रहे हैं तो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स कैसे आ सकते हैं। जब आपको मर्ज करना है तो आपने भी चैप्टर 1 का कुछ हेडर दिया है, आपके पार्टनर ने चैप्टर 1 का हेडर थोड़ा सा अलग दिया है, सो सिमिलर सेक्शन में कुछ अलग अलग टेक्स्ट है, तो आप कंबाइन कैसे करोगे? वहां पे कॉन्फ्लिक्ट आ गया, फिर आप दोनों को बैठना पड़ेगा, मैन्युअली डिसाइड करना पड़ेगा कि जनाब आपका हेडर रखना है या मेरा हेडर रखना है, कोई एक डिसीजन पे आपको आना पड़ेगा। ओके, सो अगर कोई ऐसा कॉन्फ्लिक्ट आया तो आपको मैन्युअली वो रिजॉल्व करना पड़ेगा। So all these scenarios, complications arise, and people have gotten used to resolving the conflicts, managing their workflow manually, and अगर एक बंदे का हो वर्कफ्लो, ओके, a single person is working on it, then that person will be like, I'm okay, I can manage having this 10, 15, 20 number of different file names in my file folder. I will not get confused, I have a strong mental model कि मैं याद रखूंगा कि एक्चुअल फाइनल रिवीजन कौन सा है, या फिर मैं कुछ अलग ढंग से यूनिक आइडेंटिफायर बनाऊंगा, मैं dates डालूंगा अपने फाइल नेम में। सो यूजुअली दैट्स व्हाट आई आल्सो डू, लाइक final excel underscore 16 July 2022, final excel underscore 17 July 2022, so date would be my identifier कि सबसे recent वाला excel फाइल कौन सा है। so सिंगल पर्सन के लिए टू दे आर लाइक ओके मैं मैनेज कर लूंगा। सो ये अगर सिंगल पर्सन एक कोई डॉक्यूमेंट अपडेट कर रहा है तो ये लीनियर फ्लो में जा रहा है, एंड दे आर लाइक आई एम नॉट बॉदर्ड कि मैंने शुरुआत कहाँ से की थी, आई एम वेरी श्योर कि मुझे वो शुरुआती टेम्पलेट पे जाने की कोई भी जरूरत कभी नहीं पड़ेगी। ओके, वंस आई हैव अपडेटेड इट, दैट इज माय फाइनल वर्जन एंड आई विल लिव विद दैट। सो ये भी लीनियर फ्लो है। ओके, and it's not that complex, and people are making some compromises ki I will live with it. Problem comes, more problems basically come when you're working in a collaborative environment. Okay, जब आप एक छोड़ के दो चार लोगों के साथ अपने टीम के साथ काम कर रहे हो, ठीक है, तब आप ये सब डॉक्यूमेंट्स कैसे मैनेज करोगे, तब आप ये रिविजन्स कैसे मैनेज करोगे। ओके, एंड टू सॉल्व दिस conflicts, to solve this problem basically of managing multiple revisions of file systems,
Disha, can you hear me?
specifically program. Hello, yes.
Yeah, this is Ajay here.
Yes.
There is little technical issue. I just want
Okay.
to correct it here. Just let me check with the audience who is sitting in front of in the class actually, because we are putting it live through a projector as well.
Okay.
So
Okay.
just a second, just give me a second. I want to take a feedback. How is it going? Okay.
Yes, yes, absolutely, Ajay.
Disha,
Yes, Ajay.
actually that was, I was expecting the same thing, and students didn't say that. Actually, there is one speaker here, and there is some, yeah, there is some lag in the our speaker catching up our voice. So I think you have to speak little more slower, थोड़ा सा और बस, ठीक है?
Okay, okay, okay.
But
Sure, sure.
now it is okay. Now it's okay.
Now, okay, this speed is basically okay.
Yeah, this is good. Okay, thank you so much, and I'm
Okay.
so sorry for stopping you in between.
No, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay. So that is how we'll reset our talking speed now, people. And if you find lag, it would be easier if any of the student would directly ping it into chat so I can rectify quickly. Um, all right. So we were here at what are the different scenarios कि एक सिंगल फाइल अलग अलग तरीके से कैसे रिवाइज हो सकती है. एक तो सिंगल बंदा रिवाइज करेगा या फिर आप टीम के साथ काम कर रहे हैं, सो बहुत सारे लोग एक साथ अपना अपना कंटेंट ऐड करते रहेंगे तो फाइल डॉक्यूमेंट अपडेट होता रहेगा. एंड तो वो मैनेज कैसे करेंगे. ओके, सो that's where you get into this version control system. ओके, कि हमें मैनेज करने हैं सारे वर्जन्स अपने फाइल्स के जो हम एक एक करके बनाते जा रहे हैं. सो ये मेरा ओरिजिनल वर्जन था. ओके, ओरिजिनल वर्जन के बाद मैंने कुछ चेंज किया तो वर्जन नंबर 2 बन गया. ओके, फिर मैंने कुछ ऐड किया तो वर्जन नंबर 3 बन गया. फिर मैंने कुछ डिलीट किया तो वर्जन नंबर 4 बन गया. अभी आगे जाके कुछ 6 महीने के बाद मुझे किसी पिछले वर्जन पे जाना है, कोई हिस्टोरिक फाइल निकालना है. ओके, विदाउट डूइंग मच ट्रबल. ओके, विदाउट आइडेंटिफाइंग अरे बीच में क्या ऐड किया था, बीच में क्या डिलीट किया था, तो क्या स्टेप्स मुझे अंडू करना है. ये कुछ आपको मेंटली 6 महीने के बाद तो ध्यान में नहीं रहेगा, राइट. सो वी हैव द सिस्टम ऑफ ऑटोमेटिक वर्जन कंट्रोलिंग. Okay, and git is what helps you with that. So git is not just one of the version control system. There were other precursors to git as well, लेकिन उनके वर्किंग फिलोसॉफी पे भी गिट इम्प्रूव. एंड currently git is the most popular version control system. Okay, and today's topic हमारा लेक्चर के टॉपिक का नाम है इंट्रोडक्शन टू गिट एंड गिटहब. Okay, so if you are into data science and programming now, I'm very sure कि आपने GitHub का नाम जरूर सुना होगा. And throughout the lecture, we will come across a point where we differentiate between this two. What is Git and what is GitHub? Great. Now I have some question for you. Okay, suppose कि आपने एक excellent पैराग्राफ ड्राफ्ट किया है, एक पेपर आप लिख रहे हो, अपना थीसिस लिख रहे हो, whatever, लेकिन कुछ आपने बाद में गलती कर दी उस पैराग्राफ में. ओके, और वो रुइन हो गया. ओके, खराब हो गया. ओके, फिर आपको कि अरे नहीं नहीं, पहले तो बढ़िया एक्सीलेंट पैराग्राफ लिखा था, मुझे इतना बढ़िया सेंटेंस सूझा था, वहां पे ग्रामेटिकली करेक्ट था, सब कुछ अच्छा था, लेकिन अब मैंने बिगाड़ दिया है वो. तो मैं पिछले वाले वर्जन पे कैसे जाऊं, राइट. दिस वाज द conundrum of the PhD student that we were looking at, right? So अगर आपको वो पिछला वाला एक्सीलेंट वर्जन चाहिए है तो आपके पास वो पिछले वर्जन की कॉपी सेव होनी चाहिए आपके कंप्यूटर में. अदरवाइज आप कैसे रिवर्ट बैक करोगे, क्योंकि एक बार आपने अगर सेम डॉक्यूमेंट पे कुछ एडिट कर दिया, वर्ड फाइल आप लिख रहे हो और उसमें कुछ एडिट कर लिया, कंट्रोल सेव कर लिया, फिर आप कंट्रोल जेड नहीं कर सकते, फिर आप अंडू कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते, राइट. और अगर आप एक ही डॉक्यूमेंट बार बार एडिट कर रहे हो तो आपका प्रीवियस हिस्ट्री गुम हो जा रहा है. ओके, वो हिस्ट्री डिलीट हो जा रहा है. नोबडी इज सेविंग योर हिस्ट्री अनलेस यू forcibly duplicate your paper file and edit in the copy file and keep the original separate. लेकिन अगर आप मतलब सपोज हर रोज उठ के आप हर एक दिन एक नया पैराग्राफ आपके पेपर में ऐड कर रहे हो, तो हर रोज उठ के आप एक नया कॉपी सेव नहीं कर सकते लोकल मशीन पे. नहीं तो क्या होगा कि आपका वो एक साल आपका पेपर राइटिंग चलेगा, वो एक 365 डॉट डॉक्स फाइल आपके बन जाएंगी, तो मेमोरी भी बहुत ज्यादा आपकी ऑक्यूपाई हो रही है कंप्यूटर में. दिस इज नॉट efficient use of memory management as well, and of course not efficient use of going through all this drafts. आपको क्या याद रहेगा कि 275वें दिन मैंने एक्चुअली क्या एडिट किया था और वही मेरा एक्सेलेंट वर्जन था, राइट? देयर इज नो आइडेंटिफायर कि कौन से दिन आपने क्या वर्जन किया था, कौन से दिन एक्चुअली आपने क्या चेंज किया था वगैरह. So it becomes, even if you do that extreme level of writing or updating into a copy file every single day, it still becomes tedious. सेकंड सिनेरियो इज कि आपके 5 को ऑथर्स है, जो भी आप पेपर लिख रहे हो या फिर आप सब स्टूडेंट्स हो, अगर आप थीसिस लिख रहे हो, आपके 5 प्रोजेक्ट पार्टनर्स है. हाउ वुड यू मैनेज द चेंजेस एंड कमेंट्स दे मेक टू योर पेपर, राइट? सो अगर माइक्रोसॉफ्ट वर्ड आप यूज कर रहे हो तो वहां पे ट्रैक चेंजेस करके ऑप्शन आता है. ओके, दिस इज व्हाट आई यूज्ड टू डू विथ माय प्रोफेसर इन कॉलेज. लाइक आई यूज्ड टू एडिट समथिंग एंड send it for review, and my professor used to comment on every paragraph, every line, or change certain lines, and I could use the track change option to see, okay, what are actually the changes he has made. Do I have to accept really his changes? Then accepting that proposed change would replace the text in my file and stuff and so forth. ओके, सो इट सो ट्रैक चेंजेस बेसिकली क्या करता है कि ये हाईलाइट करता है आपको कि क्या आपने चेंजेस किए थे. ओके, एंड देन यू कैन टेक अ एक्शन ऑन इट कि आपको ये चेंज एक्सेप्ट करना है या एक्सेप्ट नहीं करना है. सो डू यू वांट टू मर्ज द चेंज और नॉट मर्ज द चेंज? आई एम स्पेसिफिकली यूजिंग दिस वर्ड्स लाइक मर्ज, कमेंटिंग वगैरह बिकॉज some of these terminologies is carried forward into the version control universe as well. Okay, so pay attention to these keywords that I am using. Merge ho gaya, commit ho gaya, revision ho gaya. So हाँ, लेकिन लेकिन एक बार आपने वो मर्ज कर दिया चेंज, जो भी ट्रैक चेंजेस पे आपको जो दिख रहा है, कोई रिव्यूअर ने चेंजेस सजेस्ट किया है, कोई को ऑथर ने चेंज सजेस्ट किया है, वंस यू मर्ज इट, फिर उसका हिस्ट्री डिलीट हो गया. फिर मैंने पहले क्या लिखा था, फिर को ऑथर ने क्या प्रपोज किया था, कब वो चेंज एक्सेप्ट हुआ वगैरह, कुछ भी रिकॉर्ड में नहीं रहा. व्हाट जो भी आपको पेपर पे वो दिख रहा है, दैट इज द फाइनल ट्रुथ. ओके, पहले क्या था, बाद में क्या होगा, नो हिस्ट्री नो फ्यूचर. फ्यूचर ऑब्वियसली इज नॉट स्टोर्ड, बट नो हिस्ट्री इज रिकॉर्डेड एज सच. Okay, and whatever you are seeing is the final thing. Somebody is saying we can see version on Microsoft Word as well now. Okay, Palash, so this might, okay, I'm not really sure if you can see the version in track changes, because once you merge the, oh yeah, you can actually revert back to a previous version and to go back to what a collaborator has set up. It becomes a little messy. I have actually done this with Excel files. In Excel files also you can see what was the previous version and who edited that. But when like larger teams are working on it, it really gets very um, tricky to go through every single save, because if I have like 10-20 people working on the same Excel, and if I go into that version tree, I have this huge list of people to scroll through, because every time somebody presses Control S, the version will be locked into that shared drive. Yes, very few people know this actually. Mostly used in teams. I'm not really sure it would be used in college student groups. Okay, so that's one thing, collaborative writing or collaborative project working solutions that typically people are aware of. But in software development, this again sort of a linear kind of a system gets tedious over time. So then the solution to this is what I was talking to you about, is version control. Now I'm saying over here on this slide that it is like an unlimited undo, but it's not as simple as an unlimited undo. We will I'll show you how exactly Git works, and you will understand like it's not exactly undo. You still have some limitations, and what those limitations are, will come to in a second. uh, yeah, so two things. It's basically version control basically allows you to move back in history, and it also allows many people to work on same thing simultaneously with less number of issues. Now here, at this point, I want to digress a little. Okay. uh, this so far I wanted to set a base with you, like why do we really need a version control system, and what really version control, what it means. Okay, so version means every single revision that you are making to your work, and if you want to revert back to a previous copy or something, which you can call as a version of your work, like previous version, previous two versions, previous three versions, the original version, something like that. And control system, basically how do you move back and forth into this different version of yours. Okay, so far we have seen that the available tools at hand don't really allow much flexibility to solve this problem. And in software management, in programming kind of world, this problem even becomes bigger because you have lots of collaborators working together. And program is it is similar like a text file, but it's not merely a content, right? You're writing a program to execute something, some application is running, some experimentation code is running. So if you keep on making the update, and suppose tomorrow's update breaks your code, you should be able to say, oh no, let's get back to yesterday's update, that was a working code. Okay. uh, so version control, automatic version control allows an easy access to that. Now, from this point onwards, I'm going to digress a little bit into graphs, because this version control system is a lot similar to graphs. It will just become easier for you to understand once you have a basic idea about graphs, or how to read graphs. You will have a basic idea about. It will be easier to understand the flow of version control. Okay. So a little about graphs. So what are graphs? Very easy to define. Collection of nodes and edges between the nodes. Suppose I have some 1, 2, 3, 4 nodes. How are they connected to each other? Okay, this looks like a family tree kind of a graph, or a flow chart. You might have a drawn flow chart, something like that. And a very easier way to understand graph is an analogy, if you may, is it is made of places that you want to go to, and how to go to that places. Okay, suppose I am at place A and I want to reach place C. I have to traverse like this. So address is how do I reach place C if I'm at place A. Okay, so nodes can be your places, ways to get there can be your edges that are defined in a graph. Okay, now how did this graph theory actually started? So there was a problem. This is a city of Königsberg. Okay, this was like way back. I don't really remember the uh, date of when this problem actually came into being. But this is a city in Prussia in early 18th century. And basically, if you see, this is a island and this is the mainland. Okay, and there's a river that flows. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's one more here. Sorry, my heading has just come up on the bridge. So there are 7 bridges that connect this island to the mainland. Okay, so you can cross the river from these 7 bridges. And there was a problem that someone proposed, like, is it possible to walk through this city, okay, and cross these 7 bridges, like cross each bridge only once. Okay, and this was the problem that somebody just proposed, from that time. And in 1735 there was a mathematician named Euler who basically proved that such a route cannot exist. Like if you want to traverse the entire city, you cannot go through these bridges just once. So this is the proof that he put forward, and basically in his work on this problem, he invented a field of mathematics known as graph theory. Okay, so we have already seen the definition that I was saying. Ki graph is something, you have places that you want to go to, and there are ways to reach that places. Now, from this actual picture of the city where the bridges exist, was simplified by Euler into this kind of a graph. Okay, where the nodes, the circles are called nodes, which are the places, the landmass, and the edges are basically the 7 edges are the bridges connecting this landmass. Okay, so that's how he envisioned the graph, and then the proof of it is a different part. That's not where I'm taking you today. uh, anyway, in our modern day, also we do come across this graphs in many different ways. This is one of the graph of Delhi Metro. Okay, this is Delhi Metro's layout. You have different colored lines, meaning routes in Delhi. So every single location station, you can say, is a kind of a node, and whatever edge is between two locations is kind of an edge. So again, places to go and ways to go to them, kind of a thing. So we we don't just make nodes in random, we label those nodes. Why do we label those nodes? Because we want some identifier for that node. Okay, where am I at right now? Okay, I am at Rajendra Place. Okay, then I really want to go ahead towards Moti Nagar. Okay, so it becomes an identifier. Like I want to pass from here to Moti Nagar. If I just keep on having random nodes, I won't really have that uh, identifier. I won't really have that what do you say, recognition to where I am and where do I need to go. A mental map will not form. So whenever you are dealing with graphs, you have this labels for easy understanding. Then there is another level to graphs, which is basically directed or undirected graph. Okay, undirected graph means, if I have to give you an example, it can flow from, so you can cross from number 2 station to number 1 station, or you can go from number 1 station to number 2 station. Either way, it is like a multi-way street. Okay, two-way street, the traffic is coming in and going out as well. Okay, and directed graph, you want to visualize, it is like a one-way route. Okay, you can only go one way, you cannot come back, otherwise police kaka will give you the fine, and then it will also send you an online notice these days. I don't know if anybody has experienced that so far, but you break the traffic rules, at least in Pune you get legal notices on your phone now. Anyway, so that's a directed graph. You can follow along in a single direction, not come back. Then there is this kind of graph as well. Okay, I have named it parallel universes. Okay, let's, so to read this graph, basically the way I have put it over here is, if I am at node E, okay, these are nodes, these are edges. If I am at node E, I can go back in time. Okay, go to node or time or space, whatever your problem definition is. I can go back to the node D, C, B, A. If I'm at node H, then my previous versions, previous nodes are G, F, B, E, A. Okay, or I can, like, from A, B, I can basically go to F, G, H, can choose any of the 3 options available and proceed further. But if I am in node H, then I only have the option to go this way. I cannot jump from H to E or D. Okay, there is a sequence, there is a direction for my flow or my path from H coming back to F, then B and A. So if I'm on H, E or K, there is a possibility that I can reach node B, very definitely everybody of this are reaching node B. But however, if I'm on H, I cannot reach D or J or something like that. So there are nodes over here from where you cannot really access all of the nodes. ओके सो कई ऐसे नोड्स है कि एक नोड से आप सारे नोड्स पे नहीं जा रहे हो. सो एक नोड पे अगर आप हो तो आप पूरा ग्राफ नहीं ट्रैवर्स कर सकते और नहीं ट्रैवल कर सकते. ठीक है, आप किसी चुनिंदा नोड तक जा सकते हो लेकिन सारे नोड्स तक नहीं जा सकते. कुछ नोड्स इन तीनों पैरेलल लाइंस या ग्राफ्स को कॉमन है, वहां पे आप मिल सकते हो जरूर, लेकिन बीच के नोड आपको लेट गो करने पड़ेंगे. Okay, now this again I'm going to introduce a keyword. This is very similar to what a version control system ka graph would look like. Okay, and this parallel lines that I have drawn, which I'm calling parallel universes, is called as branching out. Okay, branch करके एक keyword है. So right now just keep focusing on the keywords and we will come to that shortly. So अभी ये डाइग्रेशन क्यों था इतना बड़ा ग्राफ थ्योरी में? So as I told you कि version control system या फिर Git looks a lot like a graph. Okay, suppose I have some data files with me. Okay, उसके साथ मैंने चालू करा, मेरा डिफॉल्ट प्रोजेक्ट मैंने शुरू कर दिया. ओके, what I do is मेरे Git रिपोजिटरी में, अगेन रिपोजिटरी एक कीवर्ड है, डिटेल में आगे देखेंगे. रिपोजिटरी इज अ कीवर्ड. मेरे रिपोजिटरी में अभी के लिए फोल्डर पकड़ लीजिए, रिपोजिटरी इक्वल टू फोल्डर ऐसा पकड़ लीजिए. सो मेरे रिपोजिटरी में कोई डेटा फाइल्स है. ओके, उसको मैंने कमिट कर दिया. ओके, कमिट करना इज लाइक सेव करना, बट इट इज नॉट सिंपल सेविंग. सेव करके आप बहुत बार हिस्ट्री भूल जाते हो. यहाँ पे हम commit keyword use कर रहे हैं, meaning we are differentiating it from the simple save because commit is going to save our history. ओके, तो मैंने ये commit कर दिया तो इसका एक आईडी बन गया commit का, और हर एक commit के साथ मैंने कुछ मैसेज ऐड किया मेरे गिट में. ओके, कि सपोज आई एम डीलिंग विद सम वेबसाइट डेवलपमेंट और उस पर कोई आइकॉन्स है एंड आई चेंज द कलर ऑफ दैट आइकॉन टू ब्लू. तो गेट बॉब दैट आइकॉन इन कॉर्नफ्लावर ब्लू. ओके, सो ये फाइल पे मैंने चेंज किया, एक आइकॉन का कलर ब्लू में चेंज किया और मैंने सेव किया, और सेव मैसेज के साथ किया कि इस वाले वर्जन में डिफरेंस क्या है, तो एक आइकॉन का कलर चेंज हुआ है. ओके, नेक्स्ट अगेन आके मैंने कुछ चेंजेस किए उस प्रोजेक्ट में, किसी फाइल दूसरे फाइल में चेंज किए कि मैंने कवर ऐड किया टीपीएस रिपोर्ट को, सम रिपोर्ट आई एडेड अ कवर एंड आई सेव्ड इट, नॉट सिंपली सेव, कमिटेड इट. ओके, फाइल तो मैं सेव करती रहती हूँ लेकिन वंस आई कमिट इट उसका हिस्ट्री फ्रीज हो जाएगा एक आईडी के साथ. ओके, इट विल सेव इट विथ एन आईडी और एक मैसेज मुझे डालना पड़ता है हर एक कमिट के साथ. आई ऐड द मैसेज विच शॉर्ट में डिस्क्राइब करता है कि मैंने अभी कौन सा वर्जन सेव किया है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ आई गो बैक टू दिस स्लाइड, अगर मैंने ये फाइल रिविजन्स जो मैंने किया है मैंने सिंपली सेव ना किया होता, मैंने इसको कमिट के फिलोसॉफी से अगर सेव किया होता, सो दिस फाइल वुड हैव चेंज टू दिस फाइल, सम कमिट आईडी 1 आता, मैसेज में वहां पे ऐड करती चेंज लास्ट लाइन, तो मुझे एग्जैक्टली पता चलता कि इसमें इस वर्जन में चेंज क्या हुआ है. देन आई वुड हैव सेव द अनदर वर्जन द नेक्स्ट डे, दो चार लाइन मैंने एक नया न्यू पैराग्राफ ऐड किया है. इफ आई डोंट सेव इट, commit it, a new commit id will be generated, commit id 2, and I can add a message, add new paragraph. Okay, so very meaningful messages I can add so that when I'm going through the history I will be very aware, oh the version where I added new paragraph वो बहुत बढ़िया version था, I want to go back to that version. Okay, so this is how it uh, this is very small and simplified version of what a Git graph looks like. We are going to do an interactive version of actually going through the steps of building a Git repository and traversing through the graph. ठीक है? Now, some terminologies अभी आपने थोड़े से सुने मुझसे. We will go through that terminologies one by one and actually uh, perform those steps on GitHub itself. Okay, to understand better. Before that, if anybody of you is using computers right now, I was told that most of you do not have computers right now to try to work this along with me. Hence, I'm not doing this a hands-on thing. But if you have computer, one thing to check if you already have Git is Git version. Okay. If you get some output like this, so this is my Git version 2.33 on my Windows laptop. But if you get some output like this, git command not found, that means you do not have Git installed on your machine. Git is different than GitHub. Coming to that. So if you want to install Git on your Windows, you can go to the website Git for Windows, and I'm going to share this PPT with you. So this links will be available. And if you have any troubles in installation, आपके software के साथ काम नहीं कर रहा है, so there is a detailed information into how to really install Git on your laptop. If it is Linux, how to do it. If it is Windows, how to do it. This links you can use. And the second one is GitHub, which is an online platform. ओके, सो एक तो है आपको आपके मशीन पे इंस्टॉल करना है, और दूसरा है जो एक ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म है गिटहब, वहां पे आपको अकाउंट आपको क्रिएट करना है, और गिटहब है जो हम अभी इंट्रोड्यूस करने वाले हैं. सो बिफोर आई गो इनटू द टर्मिनोलॉजीज एंड एक्चुअली वॉक यू थ्रू द प्रोसेस ऑफ वर्किंग इन गिटहब, गिट तो अभी आपको एक थोड़ा सा आइडिया आ गया कि ये वर्जन कंट्रोल सिस्टम है, राइट? कि आप हर बार कोई प्रोजेक्ट पे काम कर रहे हो, कोई फाइल्स अपडेट कर रहे हो, तो you are trying to save the history of your work, and this version control system का एक example is git, जो आप यूज कर सकते हैं इसके लिए. अभी हमने सीखा नहीं है git में क्या क्या होता है, लेकिन git is one of that. Then what is GitHub? Okay, अभी कब से मैं गिट गिट बोल रही हूँ, लेकिन यहाँ पे तो गिटहब का भी लिंक दे दिया इंस्टॉलेशन का, और अभी मैं बोल रही हूँ कि गिटहब पे लेके जाऊंगी आपको और गिटहब सिखाऊंगी. सो गिट जैसे वर्जन कंट्रोल है ट्रैकिंग सोर्स कोड के लिए, ये बेस फिलोसॉफी है. गिटहब इज अ ऑनलाइन सर्विस जहां पे आप आपका प्रोजेक्ट होस्ट कर सकते हैं. ओके, सो जो भी काम आप आपके लोकल मशीन पे कर रहे हो, आपके खुद के लैपटॉप पे अगर आपने कोई कोड डेवलप किया, तो आप वो ऑनलाइन शेयर कर सकते हो गिटहब पर. ओके, एंड देन वो कोड आप आपके टीममेट्स के साथ शेयर कर सकते हो. Okay, because this is online cloud platform, you can share it easily with your teammates or other collaborators if you want to make it open source kind of stuff. And anybody who has access to that, अगर आपको सबको public access देना है, तो anybody can access your code, download it, work on it. अगर आपको वो private रखना है और selected people को ही access देना है, तो you can do that. So anybody who has an account on GitHub, you can give access to them, and these people can basically work on the code as well as you can work on the code. So GitHub online service hai. Git is the basic version control system. Okay? So what we're going to do is, let me for a minute stop this screen share because I want to open another window which will take us to Git. Yes. Okay, so Git and GitHub का difference सबको समझ में आ गया होगा, is what I believe. If not, you can ping me in the chat. Somebody has shared some message.
No, it's
Please
not
share the
visible
link.
yet. It's not visible.
Yeah, so yeah, I haven't shared the screen. One second. Please share the link in chat window. Okay, I'll do that. I'll actually share the PPT, you know, Palash, I'll share the PPT in the end, so you will get all the links. But even if you want to try those right now. Let me git4windows.org. Yes, I have not shared the screen. Give me a minute. Git4windows.org. This is to download Git, and github.com is for getting your account on GitHub. Okay, links are shared, and sharing my screen again. Yes, can you see the screen? I have two tabs. Right
Yes.
side is a PowerPoint, and this is Git. Okay, so I'll just get you to the home page of GitHub. It will go to, because I'm already logged in. Okay, so basically on GitHub, if you have an account, this is how your homepage would look like. Can I? Can I? Oh, stay. I really don't want to log out right now because I think I've forgot my password. So anyway, if you go, if you don't have an account and you open the GitHub website, you will basically be asked to open an account on GitHub. It's basic sign in process. You can give your Gmail account and stuff. And once you have the account, then this is where your uh, basic page looks like. Now this is giving me a followers view. There are some other GitHub accounts that I follow. It's very much like a social media website, Twitter or Facebook. So these are the people that I follow, and whatever the recent activities are there, I can see it. My repository basically looks like this. Okay, this is my repository view. Now the first keyword that we're going to learn is what is a repository. Okay, repository is basically collection of files and folders. Okay, Windows Explorer में you make a new folder, उस folder के अंदर आप अपना document, project related stuff, reference links, anything you keep. It's a collection of files. So collection of files and folders is basically a repository. Just consider it a folder or directory. Okay, now this one repository has all the information related to your one single project. For example, I have what should I take? Okay, I'll take this repository, the very first one. Okay, so I have some files over here and I have some folders over here. Every individual folder will also have some files in it if I want. Okay, one very unique thing about this is I always have a readme file in GitHub, which is which explains कि ये repository में क्या है. Okay, what project this repository belongs to, what are the items that you will find in repository, how do you make use of those items. If you want to give that kind of information, it's basically an introduction to your project. Okay, since repository is all the data and files related to your project, you can use your readme as providing an introduction to your project, so that any new member who lands on your repository knows, okay, what is this about. uh, yeah, is this of interest to me? Suppose so this repository is basically about so this is an internship project, and the readme is not written so well, but it has some Python code related to Power BI visualizations and some graph visualizations. Okay, so I'll write in my project that this is a repository for a graph visualization using Python. So anybody who is interested into that, wants to collaborate or contribute to this code, can decide, okay, I want to look into this code, I want to contribute to this code or something. So it's an introduction basically. Okay. um, Yes. Then this repository, now what you're seeing is on GitHub, okay, which is an online service. Is there a way? So we are talking about Git can exist on your local machine. I can work on my local machine, but you are to showing key repositories on GitHub, which is like online service. Then how will I work on online service? How will I make files over there? So let us start by making a new repository online, okay, GitHub pe, and then getting that repository on your local machine, okay. And this basic process of getting the repository which is on GitHub to your machine, it's called cloning. So you are making a copy of some Git repository, and currently that Git repository is in GitHub, and you're making that copy on the local machine, so we'll call it cloning. So that is another terminology in your Git terminology list. What is a clone? So let us do that. So that will give you an idea also, like how to start with Git, or how to start with GitHub, like how to make first project with Git or GitHub. um, there is another way as well. So you don't always have to start with the online GitHub service to make your repository. You can start from your local machine also, but I want you to be in sync with the GitHub and Git. So I'm going to use the second way over here. Like, I'll make the repository on GitHub first, then clone it on local machine, and then we will work on local machine, okay. uh, right. Mm, yeah. So no, not overview. Yes, so I have a button over here saying new, okay. It brings up this creation page where it tells me I have to give a repository name, GitHub workshop, I'll say, okay. So it will see if that name is unique enough. Can you create that repository? It shouldn't be the same name if you have used that name in your list of repository previously. It tries to keep it unique. I can give some description so that it's easy to follow. If I have lots of repository, there is some cleaning I need to do on my GitHub account, because there is a lot of this kind of test repositories I have created. Test repository for Nalanda workshop. I'm keeping it public, so anybody who gets the link to this repository can actually access the files in it, download it, work on it. So let's keep it unique. Everything else, keep it as it is, and creating the repository. Okay, now these are different ways to get started, right? So the first way is, like, I am going to do is, hmm, wait a second, get started by creating a new file. I'm not going to make an existing file. I'm going to create a new file on the online service itself, and this would be my readme file, okay? Test repo. You can add a commit message here. Create first file, commit the new file, okay. So commit means this will get saved into the repository with a unique commit tag, meaning it's going to save a history of this action that I'm doing. It's going to save ki, okay, this was the file that you saved to this repository first on this date, this is the ID, and if ever I want to come back to this date, I can use that commit ID and come back to this date. We'll look into that as well. It's 6 p.m. No, it's 4 p.m. Sorry. Okay, so I have my first file over here. Now I have created or initiated the repository on GitHub. I'm going to clone it. For cloning, I'm going to copy this link. Okay, there are, this is something like you can copy SSH, or if you have GitHub command line installed, you can do that. Most easy way is stick to one way, okay. You don't have to learn 1 2 3 always. Stick to one way, and the most easy one is HTTPS, that I'll tell you. Or if you have the GitHub desktop installed as well, you can directly open it over there as well. But the most easy way and most common way to do is copy your HTTPS link of the repository that you just now made, which is this link. And I am going to open my coding window. Give me a minute for that. Sorry, where did my window go? Yeah. Okay, so I have this folder. I'm going to open it with code. One second, guys, my visual code is opening. So you can open it in any terminal if you're using. Okay, now this is for illustration purposes. I'm not expecting that you guys are proficient in VS Code or you're proficient in Linux terminal usage and stuff. Not expecting that. This is just to show you. Hmm. Oh dear. Hmm. Okay, my VLS host has died. Give me a second. Yeah, it's lagging a little bit. So I'm using Linux terminal, Ubuntu terminal inside my Windows. So sometimes it is a bit slow. Yeah, great. We are here. So what I'm going to do is git clone the HTTP link that we copied. I'm going to paste that. Okay, so it cloned that repository over here. If you see, a new folder has been created, GitHub Workshop. Under GitHub Workshop, I have the markdown file that I created, which had test repo. Okay, now I am in my local machine. Okay, whatever repository is over here in my online service GitHub is cloned or copied onto my own computer. Okay, and I can work in this repository. So I can do many things. I have a single file, so let me update that file. Okay, first step, test repo, first line edited in local machine. Okay, so I made a change to the file that was already there in that repository. I'll save this file. Will this create a commit ID saving file? It will not. It's just saving the file in my local machine. If I want to add it uh, with a commit ID to my Git history, okay, so if I want to add this version, I will have to use the command git commit. I hope you are able to see the font on this screen. The terminal that I'm using, I'm writing on the last line. If you want, I'll just increase it a bit. Yeah,
This is
maybe
helpful. We can
this is
increase.
helpful.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
this is helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just a little bit of space management. So I'll go back to GitHub later. So git commit is the command that helps you to freeze whatever changes you have made right now as a version in the history or a trackable list in Git. So git command -m, you cannot commit without giving a message. Okay, this is a very basic rule. Always give messages to your commits. and always give crisp and clean messages to your commits so that later on. So what is the purpose of using all this version control? That I need to go back into my historical versions and really identify, oh, this was the version that was really working well, and I want to pivot back to that version, और यहाँ से मैं वापस काम शुरू करूंगी कि यही बढ़िया वर्जन था. अगर आप रैंडम कमिट मैसेजेस दोगे तो आप और भी कंफ्यूज हो जाओगे कि अरे अच्छा ये फाइनल वर्जन लिखा है, नेक्स्ट टाइम फाइनल वर्जन 2 लिखा है, नेक्स्ट टाइम मैसेज लिखा है फाइनल वर्जन 3, फिर आप वापस कंफ्यूज हो जाओगे. देन दिस इज nowhere different than what that PhD student was doing. Final doc, final revision, one doc. Okay, it will be same kind of a thing. So have very crisp and very meaningful commits. It's not only useful for you, but it is also useful for the people you are collaborating with. Great. So git commit, add first commit. So this is since our first commit from the local machine. That's what I'm going to write over here. Okay, great. So now what has happened? I am in the folder. So if you are not familiar with Linux terminals, this gives me the path where the current folder that I am working into. Okay, I cloned the GitHub repository, Git workshop, and it made a new folder, but I'm still not inside that folder in my working space. So I'll go inside that folder first. Okay, and from here I'll use the commit. Oh, sorry. Uh, okay. Now what it is telling, your branch is up to no changes not staged for commit. Staged is again a keyword. So it is telling me you cannot directly use the command commit. You need to first stage your commit. Okay. So what does this staging means? So staging means कि अभी आपकी एक फाइल लोकल मशीन पे है एंड आपको वो रेडी करना है कमिट के लिए. मतलब आपके गिट के रिपोजिटरी में डालने के लिए आपको वो रेडी करना है. So that staging is done by git add. I usually do um, let's use the one file that we are using. Git add the file name. Okay, so अभी क्या, let me try git status. अभी वो staging के लिए ready है, मतलब now it is ready to get added or get committed to the git repository. Git status tells me which branch I am on. ओके देन ओके ब्रांच एक और एक कीवर्ड है. मैंने जो ग्राफ में आपको पैरेलल यूनिवर्स वाला ग्राफ दिखाया था 3 different ways. So that is something like a branch philosophy, but we are going to deal with it in detail in just a while. Okay, so it is telling me which branch I am right now on, because I did not show you anywhere to create a branch. We just have one branch in this repository, and it is telling me कि changes to be committed. So it is telling me कि readme file modify हो गया है, और अभी ये जो changes जो modify हो गए हैं ये git ने acknowledge किए हैं कि okay, I can see कि these changes are modified. And then I will say, okay, since you have acknowledged कि changes modify हो गए, please commit it to the repository. I'll just use this instead of typing the entire thing. Okay, so I'm going to tell them git commit -m is the flag that I'm giving a message, add first commit. Okay, so the first commit is added. Abhi, shall I go back to my online GitHub repository and check the file? It still has readme test repo. एक ही line है. यहाँ पे तो मैंने commit कर दिया changes. I added this line, a first line edited in local machine. So committing any change on your local machine does not directly reflect on your online GitHub repository. Okay, there has to be a linking between your local machine and your online repository, and that linking is done by pushing your changes to the online repository. So git push is another keyword. Okay, so I'm going to now. Sorry, where did it go? So अभी तो सिर्फ आपके ऑनलाइन इसमें है, लेकिन like you have frozen it into a time machine कि for this time stamp 414 को मैंने ये changes freeze कर दिए, repository में add कर दिए. Now I want to like throw this time capsule on the online cloud कि वो वहां पे अभी cloud पे हमेशा के लिए रहेगा. So then you go git push. Now it is asking me कि push कहाँ पे करूँ? Do you have access to that online repository? Otherwise anybody will push to anything. So I need to give username to my GitHub. So मेरे GitHub का username, how do I find? So this also becomes tricky. अगर आप पहली बार GitHub पे account खोल रहे हो तो username क्या है यार? username मैं कहाँ पे ढूंढूं? Go to your top right corner जहाँ पे आपका profile photo अगर आपने डाला होगा तो है. Whatever you're signed, this is your username. Okay, you can still go to your profile. No, not profile. Settings. Okay, account. यहाँ पे भी कहीं पे yes. So you can change your username if later on like आपने account शुरू कर दिया और कुछ अलग username डाल दिया तो you can change it from here and stuff. But this is your basically the username. So Disha Patil. I'll just type it. Password for the GitHub account. Abhi, since last year, GitHub has changed its rules. कि GitHub abhi password, your account password does not work for GitHub. It basically needs you to make a new authentication token which will act like a password. सो पहले बहुत सिंपल था. आपका जो गिटहब अकाउंट है, आपको ईमेल आईडी डालना है, पासवर्ड डालना है, तो आप लॉग इन हो गए, तो वही पासवर्ड आपको यहाँ पे डालना था. बट नाउ फॉर सिक्योरिटी रीजंस दे हैव नॉट kept the system. They have updated the system to token based access. Okay, so you need to create a personalized access token and use that access token to log into your GitHub. So I'm going to stop my screen right now and create a new access token just for this one example. And okay, I'll show you first how to generate a new access token. And so here I will need to give the password. Okay, I'm really, give me a minute. Okay, the password. Okay, give me a minute, guys. I'm going to stop share and deal with this password issue. Okay, 1 second. Great. I found a workaround. I had a saved access token on my sticky note. So I've used that. And I really need to figure out how I forgot my GitHub password. Anyway, um, yeah, sharing screen again. 1 second. Okay, share screen. Yeah, I hope you can see the screen. Okay, so what I have done is I had a saved token, so I use that right now, and I'm sorry I cannot show you through generate. So basically I took you to these are important steps. Go to settings, then because as a beginner again this would be an added complication. Settings में जाना है, developer settings में जाना है, personal access token. Keep this in mind, personal access token and generate new token. अभी ये generate new token करने के बाद it gives you a new token and then you need to save it somewhere safe. Okay, don't save it where everybody can access it. Like वो लिया और GitHub पे ही public repository पे save किया तो कोई भी फाइल ओपन करके आपका टोकन ले लेगा, वैसे मत सेव करो. Never save any confidential information on public repository on GitHub. I'll tell you why later on. Okay, so I generated the token and luckily I had a token which was there with me. So I used that token as my password and then I pressed enter. So then what it is telling, 100% done, writing objects, blah, blah, blah. Total changes 3, and you see these numbers. So initially some commit ID was there for my initial copy जो मैंने clone किया था repository से, उसको भी कुछ ID था. वहां से main पे it has like pushed to the main repository with these changes and created a new commit ID. So now if we go back to my GitHub account and I go into repository and I go to the GitHub workshop, क्योंकि ये मैंने अभी अभी बनाया तो वो top में दिखेगा list पे, and I go to my readme, I'm already seeing it, a first line edited. So I'm already seeing the change. I can go over here and check the history. Okay, so initially it was 6D4E01 and now it is 3A40. So now it is 3A40. So this line over here is also telling me that this version is changed to this version now. Okay, if you can see over here, it's already looking like a graph, like the graph that I was showing you before. Like this commits in GitHub behave like a nodes, and from this node I actually went to this node. So abhi mein whatever is the most recent commit will be seen at the top. Okay, and I can come back to my first file also. I can बीच में और मैंने कुछ किया तो मैं बीच वाले इस पे भी आ सकती हूँ. Okay, I can basically over here also in GUI I can show you test repo is what it is showing. I can, is there a, which diff? No, this is a diff with just one file. Yeah, so view, I can basically go into any of these commits and view at this point in the history, meaning at this point I had frozen some version of my file. At this point I had frozen some version of my file, and I can view, okay, what this version is looking like, okay, what the previous version is looking like. So you can visualize the graph or history in GitHub as well. Let me get back. Okay, so that is the in the most simplest workflow of Git and GitHub. Okay, you have some repository online, you clone it to your local machine, you work on the files, whatever code, you can add new files, make changes, you can push it to GitHub again so that it is available to your other collaborators. Okay, next time when you are doing any kind of work, suppose today you logged off from your work, okay, and you went away, and at night your other colleague or collaborator is working on the same repository, he made some changes to the repository. Okay, and now in the morning if you start working on the repository again and you just use your whatever files you have on your local machine, you don't know what the other person has done if the person has worked on same repository on same branch. Okay, we still haven't gone to the branches, but just keep in mind that if the person has made some changes to readme and you just keep on working in your local repository, you will never see what the other person has made the changes. So every time uh, you start your work, if you're working in a collaborative environment, you need to pull. That is another keyword, pull. So pull means whatever is the copy on the online GitHub repo, I want that copy on my local machine first. Let's try to edit this readme file over here. A second line edited in GitHub. Okay. Second commit. I don't want to add a description, commit changes. Okay, so there's a second line which I edited in GitHub. Now if I check my readme, it's still showing me only a first line, right? Now if I made any changes to readme, I'm basically working on a file that is stale, that is like one commit old. So I will always pull the most recent copy from GitHub. See, it's telling me fast forward. It had some changes. Addition, the plus one is like added some changes. One file change, two insertion, one deletion. Okay, so this was inserted. So I get the most recent copy from the online repository, and now I can start my work, and then I'll always push. So a very uh, diligently, the task that you need to do is always push your new changes to online repository so that you maintain the local work and the online work in sync, and always pull before restarting your work, so that if anybody else is working on the same document, same branch, same repository, you always have the freshest copy from the online repository. Okay, this is the most basic kind of a workflow. Okay, it's six. Sorry, I have the 24-hour clock, so I'm reading 4:20 as 6:20. Sorry, so it's 4:20 already. Okay, all right. So this was some basic. Okay, go away, Baba. I need to delete now that access token because I shared it on a Zoom screen. Okay, now so we've seen repository, we've seen what GitHub is, what commit is, what push is. We haven't seen branching, merging. We've seen clone. We haven't seen fork. We haven't seen pull request. Okay. Okay. Now the thing is, let me introduce you what branching is. I hope I have a repository where I can showcase you that. Oh, because it has a lot of.
Disha, may I suggest some?
Yes. Yes, please.
Ajay here. Yeah.
Yes.
See, like I think we have branch, merge, clone, fork, and for pull request. So
Hmm.
will it be okay? Like we can again have one more similar session in some coming weeks, and let's take
Yes.
next 30-minute questions. So far we have covered, because at least
Okay.
we know, what people are thinking, what questions they have, some basic queries. So,
Absolutely.
so will it be okay?
Absolutely.
Will it work for you?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, absolutely.
Because sometimes screen is very small, so students are silently watching it, but maybe they are not able
Oh,
to clear some
okay,
most of
okay,
the
okay.
things. So just to keep
Yes.
everything in flow, so let's take some questions one by one, right?
Yes,
So because
absolutely.
I'm sure they are watching from almost 1 hour, so maybe they might be having some questions.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely. That would be.
yeah, that will be helpful. And I'm a bad host, sorry, I'm learning. So, and people who are on YouTube, so please leave your questions in the comment, and I will try to see and try to take up the questions as many as possible. And people who are on the Zoom, so
Hmm.
please leave your question on the Zoom chat box. And okay, so I will try to take your question as well. Okay. And people who
Okay.
are sitting with me in the classroom, so I think they can, through if they are also in the Zoom, so they can unmute, and they can speak through the headphone, right? They can connect
Hmm.
headphone and they can speak, right?
Okay.
So, or they can come to the computer here and then they can ask. So anyway, you are comfortable with. But I'm sure you must be having some basic questions about the Git, GitHub, or if not, then we can move forward as well. So it's not.
Yep.
Right? So let's take some questions. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So let me just go through the questions, and being time you can have a sip of water as well. So yeah,
Yes,
it's an
yes.
hour. So let's
Thank you.
see. Let me first check on the chat. What questions do we have? Okay. Um, I think we got one question from Sagar. Sagar
Hmm.
asked that we can store code there and update it later. I think he must be asking about when we are writing when you are introducing Git. You know, like what Git can
Yes,
do.
yes,
Right?
yes,
Maybe he's
yes,
asking at that time. Okay.
yes, yes. He had commented very initially to my
Okay.
first
I think he
question.
got
Yeah.
the answer. Yes, you
Yep.
can store it there and then later you can update it, of course. Then, then we have. Okay, so we got question from Palash. So
Yeah.
Disha, may I read it for you, or like how?
I I can actually read it. I can
Okay,
read it for the YouTube streamers as well.
okay,
So Palash is asking, I am currently system engineer trainee at Infosys and I have gotten cybersecurity stream. I am in the dilemma that should I go for CDAC course instead of continuing at Infosys or cybersecurity good for go. Okay, Palash, I'm not really sure I can answer that here. I mean, a discussion with Ajay or somebody in the faculty would be good. I'll tell you my background. I am basically trained in applied mathematics and statistics more than the computer science or computer engineering kind of a background. So this question, I'm really sorry I cannot take right now, but if later at some point you want to email me with some specifics, I can have a look or something like that. Yeah. Okay. I have a question for the audience or whoever is there right now. I'm really sorry that at sometimes the screen was having very small fonts. It's a lot of screens going from one place to another, and I wanted to keep them all interactive and moving. So, is anybody feeling comfortable that I can make an account on GitHub? Is are people feeling okay? At least I can go on the GitHub website and at least I can make account. That is like first step.
you have to answer.
Yeah, like anybody in the audience. Okay. Meanwhile, till I get those answers, I have a question in the chat. If I am working with a teammate, should I work in same branch or should we change the branch? Okay. Since I have not come to the point of explaining branch to the entire class, Akshay, I'm sorry. I will park this question for now. It I'll just tell you shortly. It depends. You can work on the same branch or you can work differently. It depends, and we'll come to that once I introduce branches. Another question from Digital Naranda. I am currently doing data science course, so GitHub course is beneficial for me. Definitely. I do believe GitHub is beneficial for you. And since you're starting the data science course, as you go forward, you will you will find it very useful to work in teams, do projects with your peers, or there is so many open repository on GitHub itself that you would be benefited by exploring those repositories. So since many repositories are public, you can, like I showed you, if they are public, you can clone it to your local machine. You can work it on your local machine. Okay. And then you can uh, upload it to your own account. Okay. So if you clone a repository from somebody else's account, you can host it on your own account. There is a more um, cleaner way of doing this, which is one of our next point, which is forking. Okay, that exactly allows you to work on somebody else's repository, but in your own cocoon, in your own bubble. So we'll come to that when we go for fork. Next question, Rachina Daswen. When and where are you going to send us the PPT? Okay, I'll send the PPT to Ajay ji. Okay, and I'm sure he can forward the PPT to the students then. And I need to update the PPT with some reference links from where I have taken the content, and I'll also share some resources which you can look into. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
that will be good. And for all the audiences on our three different platforms, all this, the recording of this session and the slides you can find on the website of Digital Nalanda. So it is www.digitalnalanda.com. So you can find even the earlier sessions of Disha of teaching
Hmm.
R also you can find there. So in case you want to brush up your R skills, R programming skills, you can watch those also. Okay. So
Yes. Okay. Any more questions? GitHub is free or tech? So GitHub is free, Pawan. It does. If you want to host like private repositories, it still is free to a certain level. You can have paid account as well in GitHub. Typically, companies do have paid accounts. Otherwise, for your own personal use, it's completely free. You can use it for free. You can even make private repositories for free on GitHub. Yes, and GitHub is not the only hosting service for Git online. There are another example is Bitbucket. Okay, Bitbucket is also somewhere you can host your code online. GitHub's the popular one. And there are many other uses of GitHub. Where you were typing the pull, adding the okay, what was the screen name? Yes, Neha. So that is one of the thing I know most of you are not familiar with Linux operating system or what a terminal is. So let me show you. So this window that I am working on, this is called a Visual Studio Code. Okay, it is a what do you call, oh my god, I'm forgetting the name. Basically, you can edit and write your codes in this Visual Studio Code, like you use R Studio for writing R codes, right? Similarly, you can use Visual Studio Code also to write your code. It's basically an editor. Okay, there are other editors as well which you can use. VS Code is really good. It allows lot of flexibility to the programmers and developers. इसलिए मैं ये use करती हूँ और यहाँ पे मतलब बहुत सारी functionalities है. If you're not familiar with it, do not jump into this at all. You can go to your search window. This is showing on screen. Yes. So Windows search window. I am not sure you are using any kind of programming environment right now. I know that Nalanda plans to create uh, uh, hands-on programming sessions, and whenever you come across the laptops or computers or you want to do hands-on stuff, if you're using Anaconda environment for data science, Python, something, you can use Anaconda command prompt, or else if you just have a uh, Windows machine, you can type command prompt in your search window. This command prompt will open up. You can open it as admin or just open it up. Okay, why is it calling me admin? One second. Damn it. Okay, cancel. Okay, I'm not opening command prompt. It is giving me some problem right now. So I'll open my usual Anaconda prompt. It is also same as command prompt. Oh God, why is it giving me problem? I have an open screen. Do I? Yes, I have open screen. Okay. So this is what the screen will open up when you open the command prompt application. I'm trying to increase the zoom over here, but it's not working. Anyway, I'm sorry if it is very small in font. I'll quickly check how to increase zoom on command prompt. If anybody knows, zoom
I
on
think it will
command.
not increase on the
No, yeah, right?
here it will not. Here it will not. On VS
Yes,
Code we
let it
can,
be.
but here we cannot.
Yeah, here we cannot. Okay. Anyway, so this is what opens up when you open the terminal. It's called a terminal, and there are different terminals. So this is a Windows terminal. The one I was using in Visual Studio Code was a Linux terminal. You can use any that you're comfortable with. And on the terminal, uh, you have to type the Git commands. It's called command line uh, tools. Okay, so it's command line typing. Um, yeah, so that's more that's more, I don't know, what do you say, robust way to do it. Like, you can use the GUI. Since you are beginners into this field, I suggest that you download GitHub desktop. Okay, so like R Studio, how R Studio is like a nice GUI interface. There is a visualization pane, there is a file explorer, there is help tab, there is a code editor, there is a terminal at bottom. So it just becomes easier to work in that kind of a graphical user interface. You can install you can install similar desktop version of GitHub
Sure.
to
By chance,
manage your
do you
work.
have
Hmm.
RStudio installed with you by
I
chance?
have, I don't have it because I'm on my another computer.
Okay.
So really sorry, I don't have our studio right now over
No,
here.
no
Yeah,
worries.
so there
No
is
issues.
there is GitHub linking through our studio as well. That would be also a beneficial thing to do. So you don't always have to uh, rely on the command prompt or command line tools. Is VS Code required installation? Git extension? Yeah, if you are using VS Code, you do not require an extension for Git. It comes, you need to have Git for Windows basically. For if you're using VS Code on Windows, you need to have Git installed on your Windows. If you're using it on Linux, I think it comes pre-packaged. You don't have to externally install Git. On Linux it has. Um, yeah, and once you have it on Windows, on VS Code you can directly use it. For those of you who do not understand what extension is, think of it like in your Android phone, you have apps, different apps from Play Store. So on VS Code also, you can install some kind of apps basically. Then you can use stuff. So if you install some editing extensions, some apps allow you to have your editor have different colors and stuff. These are some decorative kind of apps, but there are other useful apps as well. Anyway, so that's about extension in short. uh, yeah, and I can Ajay, since you have suggested that we can have one more hour, like in a subsequent week, we can have a introduction to the GitHub workflow through R Studio, because maybe students have gone through the R Studio version desktop, they have some familiarity with it.
Yes, that will be awesome because many
Hmm,
of my students, they have proper, training of how to use our studio,
great,
so they will be
great.
good with it actually.
Great. Then we in the next session we will cover up some more detailed and advanced stuff like branching, merging, forking, and also look into the RStudio and GitHub workflow. How do you open the Visual Studio Code? You will have to download Visual Studio Code, and I mean, if you're adventurous, like, go on the Google web page and download VS Code, and you can do all your code editing over there. But if you are new to coding, I would say stay away from VS Code right now, because it will just confuse you even further. Yeah, Praveen has already given the download link. But those who are absolutely new to the coding environment, I would really suggest stay a little away from VS Code. If you want to take a plunge, then by all means go into there. Like I have come to love VS Code in my recent years. When I was in university, I used to be scared of VS Code. I mean, I used to look at this YouTube webinars and stuff where people they live code, they share it on their online streams. I used to be very scared, like what is this looking like? Why is this stuff like it is? What does this mean? So if you're at that beginner level, maybe you can take it slow. Like don't make it a priority that I need to crack VS Code. You will crack it. That's not a very big thing, but take it step by step. I could not find yesterday the lecture on YouTube. Where is it available? Maybe a question to Ajay. I'm not really sure what this means.
Yesterday lecture, no. This is the first session we are having for the GitHub. There was no yesterday lecture. I
Hmm.
was saying last year also Disha has taken sessions for the R. So under the School of Information and Data Science, you can find those lectures. Yeah. And for that, you have to register there. It's free of cost, but just you have to do the formality of registration of through the Gmail. And then you can find the old lectures. And this one, it will be updated by tomorrow evening, most probably, with slides and everything. So you can get it on website by tomorrow evening.
Great. Um, so since we are breaking up it in two parts now, like we will do 1 hour session again. Um, I would suggest everybody, even if you don't have computers, if you have, Ajay, will there be an access to internet at the Nalanda Institute for some of the student? I would like to give
Yes.
one small homework.
Yes, yes. Internet is there, of course.
Yeah, so I just want to give a homework to everybody. Go on the GitHub website and create your personal account. That's all the homework is. So whenever you have internal internet access, if you have a GitHub account, you can look at somebody else's code. You can look at somebody else's code without having the account as well. But you can, the couple of concepts that we are going to look in further, especially forking, you can take that code into your account and m- maybe try to make changes on GitHub itself, small things. So that's like first only homework, that just create a GitHub account. So I want to see if you're getting comfortable with the GitHub universe. And once you create the account, then go and explore the website. Okay, see what other features are available. Like I shared with you, yes, my entire screen is visible, and I'll just increase a little more font. Like if I go on my home page, so this is overview, basically shows my own repositories. uh, and if I go on my, yeah, so if I go here, so this is basically showing what are the other GitHub accounts that I am following. Okay, then for you, I mean, what are the accounts that GitHub is recommending me to look into depending on my history of work on GitHub. Then suppose I go into this, there would be somebody using transformer updates. Okay, so uh, sorry.
Meantime, we got two more questions.
Okay, oh, this is
One is
not
from
being.
Rahul and one is
Mm.
from Katya.
Okay. So I can read Pradnya's question. GitHub is helpful for data analysis as well. It is not helpful for data analysis. It is not an analytical platform. It is not a programming language. GitHub is just an online hosting service for your files. Suppose you have 10 files in your Windows PC. Okay, in your computer you have 10 files, and you are worried that if my laptop dies tomorrow, if my computer goes bad tomorrow, I will lose all my data. What are you going to do? First step is you will like take a backup in your pen drive, take a backup in your hard drive, somewhere like that. Similarly, GitHub is somewhere you can store that 10 files. Okay, very basic. But if that is the only use you want to do of GitHub, then you have hard drive. Why do you need why do you need an online service for that? You have hard drive also, but you are like no, hard drive पानी में खराब हो जाएगा, वो बंद पड़ जाएगा, कुछ भी हो जाएगा, तो मुझे नहीं चाहिए, मुझे चाहिए ऑनलाइन सर्विस फॉर दैट. So I think
Okay, guys. So about the next session, so please, the way you got the information this time, so I will sit and talk with Disha. When can we have the next session? As soon as possible. Definitely not minimum gap of a week, because she is a full-time data scientist working. So I think most probably she will be able to give time only on weekends. But definitely we will keep you informed and try to have the second part of this first session as soon as possible, right? So I think there is some internet glitch from Disha's side, but I think we covered maximum thing for today's session. So let's wait for a few minutes if she will join back. Otherwise, then back up. Yeah. Okay, I think so. I think we can stop now. And okay, I think she's there. Okay, Disha, can you hear me? Yes. Voice is coming, but little lag. Yeah. I think we covered sufficient information for today. So yeah, we can hear you now.
yeah, yeah, sorry. Yes, I can hear you, Ajay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can definitely take a network problem. So sorry.
No
So
issue.
yeah, we can stop here, Ajay.
And then let's get one more time set, and maybe after a week or some time, and then we will have the second part of this, right? So okay, then thank you so much everyone for joining, and
Yes,
please bring more questions, more doubt for all of us. And if someone of you need more information about the data science courses at Nalanda, so please feel free to contact us, and we will definitely guide you and help you to how to become and how to excel in the data science. Okay, so thank you so much, and thank you all of you for joining. And Disha, thank you, and a big thank you will be again when you teach us again for the GitHub. Okay, the remaining part. But today, thank you so
sure,
much.
sure.
Okay. So,
Thank you, thank
and
you. Bye
dear
bye.
audience, we'll meet again. Yeah, thank you so much for joining.
Yes, thank you. Have a good weekend.
Okay,
Bye.
and my students actually they want to say thank you. So let me show you as well. If I think they are visible somewhat.
Okay.
So I think I blurred the background, so that's why they are not visible.
Yeah.
But they are sitting here with me. So
Yes,
next
yes.
better
I
time,
can see a lot of
any
people.
better next time, I will we will get some interaction with them.
Yes.
Okay. So then thank you,
Yes.
Disha. And I
Absolutely.
think
Thank you
we'll
so much, everyone.
meet next time. Bye.
Thank you. Yeah. Bye.